I'm laughing because this is the third time I have tried to do this vlog. I technological difficulties galore. I've got my own private Mercury retrograde going backwards around my head or something. Who knows? Who knows what I can blame this on? But regardless, I am determined to do this one. I I actually wrote about this earlier on Facebook, so I should just read the post rather than trying to wing it like this. But it's alive in me and it wants to come out. So I'm determined. I'm gonna make this work. Anyway, what I want to talk about is well, I'm actually gonna tip over a sacred cow. Yes, I'm gonna go sacred cow tipping. And for those of you who haven't gone cow tipping, it's a thing that's done in the rural South where you literally get a bunch of kids, usually teenagers, because teenagers, and you push over a cow that's standing, sleeping in a field, and it can't get up. It's actually a very sad and cruel thing to do, but it's a thing and it's done. And then regarding a sacred cow, it comes back from the Hindu belief that all animals are sacred and therefore the cows are sacred. And in areas where there may be much starvation, the cows are given the food because they're deemed as being deities. They're sacred. So something I like to do is to take something that we consider sacred and knock it over, like tip over the sacred cow and light up the barbecue. And my apologies to the Hindus and the vegans. I mean no disrespect. It's metaphor. Really, there are no cows in my vicinity lying on their backs struggling to get up. Although I always thought it'd be really cool to get like a black and white cow statue and put it in my front yard, legs up. Just that's because I'm a little deviant and I have irreverent humor. But I digress. The sacred cow that I would like to look at and perhaps nudge a bit, if not knock over, is what I like to call the cult of positivity. I am not a fan of the cult of positivity. Now, lest you think I am not a fan of positivity, no, let that not be said. I love positivity. Who doesn't love positivity? It's just that I recognize that I live in a universe that's comprised equally and necessarily of both positivity and negativity. And without the two, we have no existence. We don't exist. There's no human life. There's no life. There's no polarity. There's no duality. There's nothing. So we need positivity and negativity. But we live in a culture, well, our founding fathers said that we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So we go chasing after that happiness. And what happens when you intend to pursue, to chase a thing? You chase the thing. You just keep chasing the thing and you don't capture it because emotions are elusive. They come and go like the weather, and we can no more capture a happy than we can lasso a cloud and pull it in. They come and go. Emotions are like our internal weather in that regard. And when we resist a thing, if we say no to a thing, that thing persists. We solidify that thing and it stays. So in this universe of positivity and negativity, we have the things that we would call them light, and then we have equally dark. We have white, we have black, we have consciousness, we have subconsciousness, we have pleasure, we have pain, we have excitement, we have fear, we have bliss, we have sorrow, we have masculine, we have feminine. Yeah. And those things are equal in value, different in expression, all valid and required. And without them, we have nothing. So we live in this culture that says you must be happy. You have a right, a responsibility, and a mandate to be happy. And if you're not happy, there's something wrong with you and you better get happy. In fact, I don't want anything to do with you if you're not happy. So raise your vibes. Get that positive vibe going. Stay positive, be positive, feel positive, look positive, speak positive, think positive, or else you're gonna like make something bad happen. And I say nonsense to all of that. Actually, the cult of positivity causes bad things to happen. Yeah, it's true. See, here's the deal. When we repress the negative, when we are not willing to feel the negative, uncomfortable, hard to feel emotions like sorrow, grief, despair, pain, fear, when we say no to those, when we shove those down, when we numb those out, we also flatline the positive feelings of joy, delight, bliss, happiness, pleasure. We can't shove these down with also flatlining these, and then we get this flat line, monotone, treadmill existence. We are meant to be full throttle, passionate human beings. And passion includes all of it, not just the fun, happy, light stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So when we shove down the things we don't want to feel, we also diminish and can no longer have the capacity to feel the things we do want to feel. And you know what we call that state? Depression. Depression is the depressing of everything. We go numb, we feel nothing. The solution, it's counterintuitive, it's not what you want to hear, much less feel. The solution is to feel all of the things that you don't want to feel. And when you do that willingly, you come back to life and you're no longer depressed. It's true. It's very true. And it's a funny thing about an emotion that we don't want to feel. See, we have the experience of resisting the emotion, saying no to it, which, you know, what we resist persists. So we hang on to that thing we don't want to feel in the first place. We prolong it, we exacerbate it, we magnify it, and we magnetize it, and then we're stuck with it. So the resisting of it actually means you're going to make sure you feel it for a lot longer than you should, and that's suffering. We create our own suffering that way. The weird, funny, uncanny thing is that each of these emotions, it has a lifespan. So it reaches a crescendo, it reaches a peak, and then it subsides, kind of like a birth contraction or a wave. And the really cool, amazing thing is that it only lasts about 90 seconds. And I promise you, you can endure anything for 90 seconds. It's true. It's just that when we resist it, we prolong it, and then we suffer, and we think that that's how all feelings are supposed to be. But emotion, if you break the word down, is emotion, energy in motion, and it wants to pass through us, or maybe this way, like from chakra to chakra, and then be released. It doesn't want to hang out. It doesn't want to stay there. And it shows up in the body as a somatic experience, as a sensation in the body. The body feels it, and we're invited to simply let it be there until it does its 90-second peak and subsiding thing. But what happens? The brain, the all-powerful, all-knowing brain shows up and says, I got this. I'm going to label that thing. I'm going to analyze that thing. I'm going to figure out that thing. I'm going to manage that thing. I'm going to control that thing. And as soon as we let that happen, we're stuck with that thing. It stays stuck in the body because the mental body cannot digest emotion. So we've kind of been trained not how to feel our feelings, but how to think about our feelings. So we process them and we tell a mental story, we mental masturbate, we analyze. And if you break down the word analyze, it's not the best way of looking at anything. And when we do that, when we think about it rather than feel it, we perpetuate it and we suffer. So I like to do it like this. I imagine when I'm feeling, a strong sensation, especially an unpleasant one that's uncomfortable somatically, there's some discomfort involved in it. Rather than let my brain show up and say something, I quiet the brain. I sink into the body. I find where I feel it. It's usually in the torso, but it could be anywhere. I feel the feeling and I imagine I am holding a crying baby or small child. Sometimes I imagine myself at about age 3, 4, 5, when I was, sweet and young and innocent, and I visualize myself. Sometimes I do this, and I feel the feeling from start to finish the way I would hold a crying baby, without condition, without trying to control it, without squelching it or smothering it, simply letting myself hold that crying baby. And just like with real babies and children who feel their emotions strongly, it reaches that crescendo pitch and then it subsides, and then they're often playing. They resolved it, they digested it, it's integrated into them. And we can do the same thing with our uncomfortably strong, powerful emotions. Imagine you're simply taking yourself or a baby into your arms and, okay, I'm going to let you feel this fear, this anger, this rage, this panic, this anxiety, this grief, this sorrow. I'm going to hold you, little one, while you feel this. I'm going to just be with you. I'm just going to hold it. I'm going to sit with it. And then it's gone in about 90 seconds. That's it. Yeah. Last night, I had a wave of grief hit me. Some of it was fresh, some of it was ancient. And that happens, when we feel a feeling, we don't just feel what we're feeling right here, right now. If there's anything unprocessed from our history, it will be triggered. That which is festering in our history is still there. We couldn't contend with it when we were 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but now we can because, we grew up and everything. And we get triggered by the thing, and then it comes and meets the thing, and that's why we overreact, because we've got all that energy that's been festering down in there, and it shows up. So I was triggered by current things that echoed more ancient things, and I had a tsunami of grief hit me, and it was like a storm. It was an emotional storm, and I resisted it initially because it was too much. It was too much to feel, and I'm alone, and I was telling myself the mental story, oh, I'm alone and I'm isolated and this is how it's always going to be, and the drama of it all. And yeah, see, I was mentalizing it, not just feeling it in my body. And I reached out for help, and I got the help I needed. I was able to find someone who could be my anchor in my storm, and he was able to remind me, I got this. I can get through this. And all of this is stretching me, growing me. It's fertile ground for growth. And I could say yes to the experience and to the emotion and let it do its thing in me. I surrendered to it. And that's what we need to do when we feel our feelings, rather than saying, it's a negative one, I don't want to feel it. Therefore, withering the positive ones, therefore living a flatline depression. Instead, we can greet each emotion that arises like a guest and say yes to it. We don't have to be afraid of our fear. We don't have to grieve our grief. We don't have to be ashamed of our shame. We can just say yes and feel it and let it do its 90-second thing and go. And that's how we heal. We heal by feeling, not thinking about. You have to catch yourself. Your brain will want to jump in and do that work for you. Yeah. Yeah. So I want to show you something. I did this painting a while ago. Got to get it and me in the picture. So this is called the Lover's Dance, and you'll notice there's the black and there's the white, and they are dancing. And yeah, usually the feminine is shown as the black and the masculine is the white. And I can't even begin to tell you why I did it this way, but I did. And there's all this energy flowing. So this is the life that comes when we bring the negative and the positive, the conscious and the unconscious, the masculine and the feminine together. It's a dance of intimacy within ourselves as a being, within a relationship as a couple of polarity, in the world and universe at large, when we say yes to all of it rather than suppressing half of it and being hemiplegic, half paralyzed. We're meant to say yes to it all. And then as a final thing, and I'm hoping all the technologies danced together to make this possible, because I don't know if I can record this a fourth time, and it's been different each time. I did want to read one of my favorite poems from one of my favorite poets, Rumi. He is the Sufi mystic from, I think, the 13th or 14th century. And what he has to say is timeless. This is his poem entitled The Guest House. And I imagine a lot of you have already heard this, but I want to tie it into what I'm saying today as a gift to you. So let me read it to you. It's all about how we get willing to welcome every emotion that arises as a gift. So here goes. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing. Invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. There's so much more I could say, so much more I want to say. So much more I did say in the previous two wonky versions of this. I will put the link to my Facebook post here in the comments so that those who want to find it can. What I want to inspire in you, each of you, every human I ever come across, I ever encounter, my heart expression, my soul's purpose, my passion is to inspire every human I encounter to see and be who you truly are. And who you are is a full throttle, passionate human being who wants to unleash all of who you are upon the world at large and with those with whom you most deeply connect. That's your birthright. That's why you're here. That's why you incarnated. So I invite you to explore. Have you given in to the cult of positivity? Have you put everything positive up on that impossible to attain pedestal and shoved everything you don't want to feel down into the dungeon of your being, rather than bringing both of them, feeling all of it, because that's the only real choice. We either authentically feel all of it, or we numb ourselves out and live on the flat line of depression regarding any of it. So I wish you every joy. Joy, the allowance of every emotion that wants to come visit you, because I promise you, surrendering to even the most heart-ripping grief will lead you to joy. Thanks. Talk to you next time.